Welcome back to the Midlife Switch, and my name is Monica, and this podcast is where midlife women come to explore what's next in life, career, and everything in between. Today's episode is called The Cost of Waiting. And no, this isn't about making impulsive decisions or quitting your job tomorrow. It's about taking an honest look at what waiting is really costing us. Because while we're waiting, it often feels like the safe choice, but sometimes it's actually the riskiest one. I think one of the biggest myths we tell ourselves is that one day everything will magically line up. We'll have more time, more confidence, more money, more energy. But life doesn't usually work that way. Think about the last 5 years. Did life ever suddenly become less busy? Probably not. If anything, new responsibilities replaced the old ones. And as parents, we think once the kids are in school, I'll have more time. Then they're in sports. Then they're teenagers. Then maybe we're helping aging parents. Life keeps moving. There will always be another reason to wait. But the truth is, perfect timing rarely exists. Most people who make meaningful changes didn't wait until everything was perfect. They started while life was still messy. When we think about waiting, we usually focus on what we might lose by taking action. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I waste my money? But we rarely ask the opposite question. What if I never try? What does that cost me? Maybe it's another year in a job that drains you. Maybe it's another year putting your dream on hold. Maybe it's another year believing you're too old to learn something new. Those costs don't always show up on paper. They're emotional. They're opportunities missed. They're confidence that slowly fades because every year you convince yourself it's too late. And here's something I've noticed. The longer we wait, the bigger the challenge becomes in our minds. We imagine this huge mountain we have to climb. When in reality, if we had started a year ago, we'd already probably be halfway up it. This is something I've experienced myself. I've gone back to school as an adult. I've balanced work, family, and learning. And on top of that, the kids' schedule, the cooking, the cleaning. And I can honestly say there was never a season where I thought, wow, life is so quiet right now. It never happened. If I had waited for life to slow down, I would probably still be waiting. Instead, I learned something important. Progress does not happen because life gets easier. It happens because we decide to move forward anyway. Sometimes that means taking one course. Sometimes it's sending one job application. Sometimes it's spending 20 minutes working on a dream after the kids go to bed. Because small steps count. In fact, they're often the reason big changes happen. So, what is the hidden cost of staying comfortable? Comfort feels good, and there's nothing wrong with stability. But comfort can quietly become a trap. We stay familiar, or we stay because it feels familiar, even when we're unhappy. Even when we've outgrown the situation, even when we know we're capable of more. Growth almost always feels uncomfortable at first. Think about when you first started learning how to drive, starting a new job, or beginning a fitness routine. The first day is awkward. The first week is hard. Eventually, it becomes normal. The same thing happens when you change careers or chase a new goal. The discomfort does not last forever. But if we avoid that temporary discomfort, we often end up with long term regret. If you're in a season where you've been putting something off, I want to leave you with 3 questions. First, what have I been waiting for? Be honest. Is it really time or is it fear? Second question, if nothing changes, where will I be 1 year from now? Will I be proud of where I am? Or will I still be saying, maybe next year? And the third question is, this is my favorite. What is one small action I can take this week? Not next month, not after summer, this week. Maybe it's updating your resume. Maybe it's registering for that class. Maybe it's reaching out to someone for advice. Small actions create momentum, and that momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates change. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. And I hope it sticks. A year from now, time will have passed, whether you make a change or not. The question is, where do you want to be when you get there? You don't need to have the entire plan figured out. You don't need every answer. You just need to take the next step, because waiting has a cost. And so does staying where you are. The good news is that every day gives you another opportunity to choose differently. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me here on the Midlife Switch. If this episode encouraged you, I would love it if you would share it with someone who's been waiting for the quote unquote right time to make a change. And remember, your midlife isn't the end of your story. It might just be the chapter where everything starts to change. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.